do a little more in-depth detailed thing of this ESP, HSP, DSP, SPS, NTT, NBA, USA, God knows. Anyway, extrasensory perception. So on the higher side, there's people who are can sense, let's say, deceased people, people who are dead, that their spirits are still moving around. People that can communicate with animals on a deeper level. People who can see auras, that can literally see, let's say, a mist of colour around a person, which is, it tells them more about the state that that person's in at that moment. DSP, they're not going to see any of this kind of stuff. They might sense stuff, but they haven't got the context to put it in. So there's they're just doing their thing, which is their thing. Don't want to put it down, scale it down or whatever. But let's say the more input you get, or the sensory perception, your world's going to be way more richer. So the 5 senses, and let's say this HSP, ESP, the NTT is the 6th sense. The 6th sense is, in fact, all these senses, but an octave higher. Get what I'm saying? So let's say most of us have the ability to see. We see reality through our filters. HSP, ESP can, let's say, see maybe orbs, maybe let's say shadow beings, that kind of stuff, or maybe someone's face literally morph when someone changes their frequency. I've got that, for instance, when I can see let's say entity possession or that kind of stuff. Very interesting. A little scary at the beginning, but I thought it was way more interesting than normal reality. Clear audio, so hear things, hear voices or names. I also have that with certain words. So a word will come through which I've never heard of, and I'll look it up, and it'll be the exact description I needed for what I was thinking about or what I was feeling about. So that's very interesting as well. Clear, smell. So for instance, I've got this friend of mine who, whenever she thinks about someone or someone thinks about her, then she smells things. So for me, it was at that time when we would have that interaction, she would smell coffee. So that'd be the clue for her. It's like, oh, that's Vincent. And taste and all that kind of stuff. So it's just your senses that we all know, but then let's say extrasensory. So your antennas will go up and up into this new octave layer. And again, I have the belief that we're all heading in this direction. It's just that some people are attuned to it faster than the other. The most interesting thing that I think we should do is what do we do with this range of people? Whatever stage they're in, what do you do? Because these are really good people for sensing stuff. Their senses are higher. So if let's say you could use them as hosts, as in to host a party or all kinds of stuff, to balance the energies out in a room, all that kind of interactions. But also, let's say the problems that we have now on Earth, these people can tune in or look at the problems from so many facets at the same time. Oh, someone coughing there, see? An HSP person walking around. That's also a sign when people cough, sneeze at certain points, that there's energy being transformed. Being able to sense and feel that kind of stuff. So HSP, ESP, to the entity, to the NPDB, that's what I'm looking into now. Just what's happening. It's all new terrain. we're all traveling into this fifth dimension that we don't really know of, or what it's going to be like. But the thing we do need to create is space for these abilities. What can we use it for? I also had an experience with remote viewing. I could see something. So I was in Holland, and I could see what was happening in England, like through a pinhole, which was mind-blowing when that happened. So how can we train this ESP, these extrasensory perceptions, these abilities? How can we train them for the better good? What I see, one of the best things we can do is to call out, what would the word be? Distruths, falsehoods. So a lot of people are stuck in false things, and intuitive empaths are going to feel if that's correct or not. And a lot of them are, let's say, on the same page. Doesn't matter which country or whatever. These abilities seem to have, let's say, a standard set of parameters. So truth is truth. Doesn't matter which side on the planet you're on. So a good ability of this could just be saying, look, I've heard what you've just said, and it's bullshit, or it's flawed, or the reason why you're saying this is that and that and that. And this is going to cause a whole trigger response. Let's say my friend Christiana, she's very good at triggering people, and gets a lot of this attack energy going on. But if you look at it, it's for the greater good. It's like, okay, these falsehoods, these false realities, these weirdnesses that we're spreading out, that has to end. Now it's time for truth, and there have to be pylons of truth that emit this energy, and it can call people out, but also be open to be called out on yourself, which is good, because these kind of people welcome that. When I see, let's say in this instance, Christiana getting a little bit out of whack, or going off in a direction that's not truly in line with what I sense as herself, then I'll go and tap her on the shoulder and say, look, are you in alignment? Because I reflect the situation back. And she loves that, and we do that together, and I've got tons of friends that do this, and it's a very good bedding to grow as an individual, but also as a collective. So this ESP, HSP to the N to the D to the BBB just needs some more space to talk about, to feel, to sense, and just and mingle. It shouldn't be camps. It should be just a whole. We're all in this shithole together, and to make the best out of it. Share perspectives, because this DSP, thank God they're here as well, because they can still function in, let's say, 9-to-5 jobs, even though with this pushing on, it's getting harder and harder to do that kind of stuff. That was it. I think I've covered everything I wanted to say. If you have any remarks, questions, all that kind of stuff, put it down below. I'm very interested in, especially in how we can move forward with these views. So let me know. Take care. See you next time.